Good grief, I should have brought some raw meat for those vultures. The only carcass they want is Ridge's.
Taylor, I'm glad you're here. We can go over your testimony.
Why are you just pulled off a major miracle? You got a motion for continuance, heard in private?
Well, it surprised me too, but I will take it. It might be the only break we get today.
Really? Is that your honest assessment of the case?
Stephanie, without knowing all the players...
I wouldn't think we're going to get any more favors.
No, you're right. I suppose if it were up to the DA, she'd roll in a guillotine before they even swore in the jury.
I'm going to ask for the trial to be put off long enough so I have a decent opportunity to prepare my case.
But what if the judge says no?
It amplifies my grounds for an appeal.
An appeal? Well, that doesn't sound very good.
Continuance?
Well, yes, the attorneys had hardly any time to prepare the case.
Well, what if the judge doesn't grant it?
We have to assume the trial starts.
Let's hope you're assuming correctly.
On a wing and a prayer, huh?
Yeah.
There's Ridge.
All rise. Case number 1501-620, People of the State of California versus Ridge Forrester. The Honorable Devin Q. Owens presiding.
Thank you. Be seated.
Jennifer Totaro for the state, Your Honor.
Christine Blair for the defense. Your Honor, I filed a motion about having the trial...
Yeah, I've read it. Now, where do you expect this to go, Miss Blair?
I came on board less than a week ago. I need time to prepare my case.
What case? Oh, right, the alleged botched suicide. Very original.
Your Honor.
Ms. Totaro,
It was a compliment.
what's this about a suicide?
We are diligently seeking evidence that the deceased, Shane McGrath, was attempting suicide the night he died. My client tried to stop him. There was a struggle. The gun went off.
Your Honor, the victim, not the deceased, had been threatened with harm more than once by Mr. Forrester. And the only suicidal act that Mr. McGrath committed that night was seeking out Ridge in the first place.
Why do you believe you'll find evidence the victim intended to kill himself?
Compelling evidence has already been found. Your Honor, if I may submit Defense Exhibit A, Shane McGrath's cell phone.
Where did you get that?
It was discovered in the Forrester Originals office building last night. It contains a text message which I would like to investigate further.
I'll consider it.
Where are you, Rick?
The trial started. I have to go.
Phoebe, I'm sorry.
So am I.
I object. How do we know Shane McGrath even wrote that message?
Read it again, counsel.
Phoebe, this is goodbye. I'll love you forever, but I won't be bothering you anymore.
Unsent?
It was saved as a draft on Shane's phone. He could have been planning to expand on it.
Maybe he was planning to launch it into outer space. We'll never know. This is all speculation.
Goodbye forever. Exactly the words one would expect to find in a suicide note.
Or a farewell note before Shane left town, which he might have done had he not been shot to death, stuffed into a garment bag and shoved off a boat by an irate father.
I'm inclined to agree with Ms. Totaro. The phone message, because it is vague and open to different interpretation, would be inadmissible in evidence. You have very thin soup, counsel.
Exactly why I need more time to investigate.
Mr. Forrester, did you have a lawyer before Miss Blair took on your case?
My family was interviewing various attorneys, however...
You were taking your sweet time about it. Thank you. You've answered my question. You haven't persuaded me, counsel. Your client has had ample opportunity to attain a lawyer and craft a defense. Motion denied. Bailiff, bring in the jury veneering, and we'll
I have a second motion, Your Honor, one that should be heard outside the presence of any prospective jurors.
What is it this time?
I want an in limine ruling on a question of evidence that has to be answered now, as it will affect my entire defense.
What is your question, Miss Blair?
Ridge is our only occurrence witness. He has a prior felony conviction involving a firearm.
You don't say.
I want to bar the state from using his prior to tar and feather him if Ridge should testify.
Bar us? On what grounds?
Good question.
Ridge never should have been convicted. He did not shoot Grant Chambers.
That is beyond absurd, Judge. Why are we wasting time on these nonsensical motions?
An even better question.
The defendant's prior conviction for attempted murder was based on a false confession proffered to protect the real shooter, a minor at the time. If Ridge's conviction were voided, it would allow him to testify without the fear of his credibility being tainted.
My esteemed opponent wants to wave her magic wand and make her client's record go away. Are we in Vegas or a court of law? My son did not shoot Grant Chambers.
Quiet, please.
I'm sorry,
Ms. Forrester.
I'm sorry.
You know, I don't know what it is in Wisconsin, but here we have a concept called contempt of court.
I apologize for Mrs. Forrester's outburst, but she is correct. There are extenuating circumstances
Here we go
which I
again.
will prove to you if you will allow me to call an expert witness, Dr. Taylor Hayes.
Your Honor, call anyone you want when we're in front of a jury. For now, this farce of a hearing is over.
I was under the impression that I run the show here, not you, Ms. Totoro.
Your Honor, forgive me, but come on.
I'm going to give Ms. Blair some leeway here. Keyword, some.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, there's no need. The answer is yes. In my medical opinion, Rick Forrester is, he's definitely repressed this memory of shooting Grant Chambers.
On what do you base that opinion?
From talking to him, from observing him, from seeing and hearing how adamantly he is still in denial.
Thank you, Dr. Hayes.
Dr. Hayes, could Rick be denying any memory of the shooting because he flat out wasn't there and didn't do it?
I believe he did do it.
On the basis of hearsay upon hearsay?
Objection.
Rephrase.
You were not present when Grant Chambers was shot, were you?
No.
So it's impossible for you to know, of your own knowledge, who was there.
Correct.
Do you know, again of your own knowledge, where Rick was at the time the shooting took place?
No, but
Now, you are aware, are you not, that Grant testified at Ridge Forrester's sentencing hearing that Ridge was the person who shot him?
yes, I know that Grant did testify in court.
You also know that Ridge pleaded guilty to shooting Grant Chambers and testified to the same offense at sentencing.
They were protecting Rick.
That's what you were told.
Yes,
By the defendant.
yes.
But not until after he was indicted for murdering Shane McGrath. Isn't that right?
No, that is not right. Ridge told me about this years ago, right after he was sentenced, that he did not shoot Grant.
So, a man who had just sworn under oath that he was guilty of shooting Grant Chambers took you aside and said, by the way, I didn't do it. Honest, I was protecting the kid. And you believed him.
Ridge wouldn't lie about something like that.
What would he lie about, Dr. Hayes? Would he lie about being responsible for killing Shane McGrath and dumping his corpse in the deep blue sea? Might he go so far as to let your husband, Nick Maroney, take the fall for him? Ah, that would be quite a whopper now, wouldn't it?
Objection.
I just have a few last questions for Dr. Hayes. Has anyone ever told you they heard Rick admit to shooting Grant?
No.
Not Rick's mother or father, or even Stephanie Forrester, who has injected herself so mightily into this case?
No.
So not that any of them were present at the shooting or had any more first-hand knowledge than you did. I could go on like this all day, Judge.
That won't be necessary. I find the evidence insufficient to warrant vacating the prior conviction. If Mr. Forrester testifies, he becomes fair game. We'll have a brief recess, and then we'll start with our jury selection.
Rick Forrester, Your Honor. I have no idea who killed Shane McGrath, but I do know who shot Grant Chambers. Ridge didn't shoot him. I did.